Okay, so in this section, we're going to be talking about the analysis of variance, and we actually usually are going to abbreviate that as ANOVA, analysis of variance. Okay, so what this is essentially saying is our null hypothesis means all of our means are going to be equal, and our alternative tells us at least one of the means is different. We don't necessarily have to find out which mean is different. And we use this when we're comparing the means of 3 or more different populations. So we have a few things that we need to keep in mind. Each sample has to be randomly selected from a normal or approximately normal population. The samples have to be independent, and each of the samples have to have the same variance. So our test statistic is going to be the variance between samples divided by the variance within samples, okay? And to do this, we're going to find two different things. We're going to find the mean square between and the mean square within. Now, we're actually going to perform both of these. We're going to do all of this in the calculator, so you're not going to need to go through all of these steps by hand, but I just want to make sure you know where the information is coming from. Okay. So to find our test statistic, we're going to divide the mean square between by the mean square within. Our degrees of freedom in this case for the numerator is going to be our number of samples, subtract 1. And for the denominator, it's going to be n, which is the sum of our sample sizes, subtracted by k, the number of samples. So let me show you what I mean. Okay. All right, so just like before, you're going to perform all your verifications, state your null and alternative, identify your claim, determine your degrees of freedom, determine your critical value from the calculator, and then determine your rejection regions. From there, you're going to calculate your test statistic, okay, and determine if it's in the rejection region, and then write your sentence. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at an example. All right, and I started doing this one by hand, but then I decided, no, we're just going to do it on the calculator. All right, so a medical researcher wants to determine if there is a difference in the mean length of time it takes for 3 pain relievers to kick in. And so what they did was they had 3 different medications, and this is the length of time it took those individuals, okay? We have an alpha level of 0.01. So our null hypothesis is telling me that the mean length of time is equal for medication 1, 2, and 3, and our alternative means at least one is different, okay? So go ahead and grab your calculator, and what you're going to want to do is first, you're going to enter in your data to 3 lists, since I've got 3 medications for this problem. So you're going to click edit. I've already typed it in, so you're going to go ahead and type those 3 in. All right, and once you have that, what you're going to do is you're going to click stat. You're going to go over to test, and on my calculator, ANOVA is at the very, very bottom. So I'm going to hit enter, and we typed our data into list 1, list 2, and list 3. So I'm going to hit list 1, list 2, and list 3. Okay, I'm going to hit enter, and then you're going to notice it gave me my test statistic of 1.50. It gave me my p-value of 2.269, and in this case, my p-value is greater than my alpha. So that tells me that I'm going to fail to reject. Okay, so if I fail to reject, that's telling me that I don't have enough information to conclude that there's a difference between the means. Okay. All right, so I want you to try this example, okay? And then I want you to check Schoology to make sure that you got it correct. This is also in your book, I believe. Yes, this is also in your book, okay? The last thing that we're going to talk about is the two-way ANOVA, and we're actually not going to calculate this for this class. It's not in our curriculum, but I just want to discuss it real quick. So essentially what happens here is we have two different independent variables, okay? So in this case, male and female, and then the medication that they are taking, okay? And so what happens is we have essentially three null hypotheses. So the book goes into this on page 580. So go ahead and make sure that you read that page to see this. But as I mentioned, this is not going to be something that you are going to be tested on. I just want you to understand that that is something that is possible. And if you were to take more statistics classes in the future, you would see the two-way ANOVA test. Our TI-84s can't do this test. You need some other statistical software to do this. Okay?